Implementation was the next step in the evolution of the Complete Streets movement in New Jersey. Typically, after a policy was adopted, a community would seek out or develop planning and design documents, checklists, and supportive policies, including area plans, additions to master plans, or specific Complete Streets implementation plans. NJDOT and Complete Streets stakeholders offered both technical assistance and funding incentives to lay the supportive framework for implementation.
DOT has helped facilitate the implementation of Complete Streets across the state through trainings, but also through funding for individual projects, whether it's from county and municipal aid or federal programs like Safe Routes to School and Transportation Alternatives. New Jersey DOT gives out a lot of grant money for projects that are definitely Complete Streets projects.
Historically, that funding has often been used for resurfacing streets, and it still is, but part of what our message has been, especially since that funding doubled a few years ago, has been that money can be used for pedestrian-friendly projects, for bicycle lanes. There's many bike and pedestrian-friendly projects that funding can be used for. And that's important because that's a substantial amount of funding that is available to just about every community.
Another thing we do is provide resources. We have the Complete Streets Design Guide, but we also created, with the help of our strong network of advocates in New Jersey, the Complete Streets Model Policy and Guide, Complete and Green Streets Model Policy and Guide. And towns are using that to build their own policies, to implement their policies, and to make them stronger.
NJDOT supported the transition to implementation by developing and providing Complete Streets design guidance and implementation training, with hundreds of people having attended workshops.
The trainings are statewide on all sorts of level of very beginning kind of knowledge for Complete Streets to the advanced kind of Complete Streets implementation. We do technical assistance. So whether they're a report or just answering a help desk phone call on occasion to help people answer those questions, big and small, about implementing Complete Streets. And finally, we also, of course, do research at Rutgers University on how best to implement Complete Streets, how to address equity when we do want to implement Complete Streets, how to bring in health data and information. So it's very much a three-pronged approach of education, technical assistance, and research.
Implementing Complete Streets was the natural progression of the movement after the strong policy and assistance framework had been laid. NJDOT published the Complete and Green Streets for All Model Policy and Guide in 2019 as a resource for towns and counties. It included checklists for policy implementation. Communities across the state who had adopted policies started to both plan for and build Complete Streets. Projects came in a variety of designs, but ultimately fulfilled the vision of providing streets that were planned for all users and that were contextually appropriate. Pedestrian facilities, bicycle accommodations, stormwater management, and placemaking have started to fulfill the vision of the movement, with streets built for people, not just cars.
Complete Streets is really a foundation upon which many other newer, more current buzzword activities such as Green Streets, such as Towards Zero Death or Vision Zero are built.
The implementation of Complete Streets is well underway and has begun to change how our roadways look and feel. Communities realize that our streets can be designed for people. The hope and promise of Complete Streets continues to grow in New Jersey.
If Da Vinci were alive and designing streets, his streets would be beautiful and functional. To me, that's Complete Streets.